Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I hope you had a great weekend, just like I had a great weekend. Very uplifting, very fun. But during this weekend, there was one thing that kind of brought me down, and that was the news that we are going to be getting some changes in the upcoming update. Now, the big changes for me that we are getting is they're going to be dropping the hard farming nodes from 8 attempts to 5 attempts. This isn't the first time this has happened. We've seen this go a couple of times. It actually started at 3 attempts. That's all you got, period. I don't remember there being a crystal refresh in the beginning. There might have been, but I don't remember ever using it. Maybe that was just me. Now, one reason why I think that this could be it, and one reason this is definitely one that's speculated a lot and talked about a lot, is that Star Wars, EA, Capital Games, Disney, the whole lot of them love money. They love the cash. They need the Geetus to get things going, right? And yes, it is a business. And yes, while technically it is a free-to-play game with a pay-to-play aspect, this one is definitely a lot cooler in my mind than some of the other games that are out there that don't have that are pay to play, or maybe have different revenue earning things. There's not ads that are popping up every 30 seconds or after every battle. That would be annoying as all get out. And so, I mean, it goes to say that they're doing something right. Now, are they still making money? Absolutely. They are still the number 3 top grossing game on, this is from an Android app here. If you look at just the month of March over the last 3 years, yeah. In January or in March of 2017, they made 15 million. In March of 2018, they made 18 million. And then here in March of 2019, they made 11 million. Is that a problem? Well, versus the other few, yeah, comparatively, yeah, it's a problem. But is it indicative of is it telling us the game's on the way out? No. What it's telling us is there was some great content here, and maybe there are some problems that need to be worked out. Now, could this be a number of different things? Absolutely. We had an additional week, maybe week and a half from the anticipated launch date to farm. And that's going to save players a lot of time, a lot of crystals, and definitely a lot of money. You know, there's the KOTOR fatigue. Is that something that definitely has to play a factor here? So I don't rightly know, and I don't think necessarily that it's an issue with money because they're making it. Now, the next thing that I've talked about this for a while is something big is coming, and it makes sense to me that something big is coming to the game because, I mean, we got, ancient legendary events, right? Really exciting. We got Revan and Dreven and all kinds of other cool characters. But we haven't had a new raid in over a year now. We haven't had territory battle map in quite some time. And so I have long since said that we're getting one of the two. Now, I do think that it's more likely that we will get a territory battle map than a new raid. But if you jump and you take a look at the actual nodes, there's one thing that's really kind of interesting. What could be coming next? And again, if it is Clone Wars related, then it is likely that we already have the characters in the game that we need. What does that mean? If whatever is coming is focusing on the Clone Wars era, it is likely that we already have the tunes that we need. To me, it's kind of a breath of fresh air because if I don't have to farm for a new meta because I already have those characters for 7-star, I can worry or focus on getting them to a higher gear level. So when whatever does come, I'll be ready for it. And I think that's the way that I'm looking at it. And it might be a little more optimistic than some other people out there are viewing this. But that's kind of how I'm going to take this. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is what I call the meta wave. And we've all seen it, right? You save up a ton of crystals, like 50,000 crystals. And then a new meta comes in and plummet, and you're completely empty. And you get that meta, you ride that meta wave, and all of a sudden, you're riding the wave, you're killing it, saving up those crystals, and poof, another wave, another meta drops. And all of a sudden you get a new tune. Now, the problem with this is I feel like if you start here and you've saved up the crystals, there's a point where people who haven't saved up the crystals are starting to climb, right? So you've got the meta here and you're starting to climb here. And there's a point where you meet, and then some people try to chase the meta. Some people try to not chase the meta, whatever, or save up for the next meta. My thought is what they're doing is they're implementing a second wave. If instead of one wave is going at a time, you have one wave start, and then shortly thereafter, a second wave start. Now, you have two competing metas maybe introduced around the same time. The idea here is you as a player then get to choose which meta you really care to focus on. So instead of having to chase one meta, you're chasing whichever meta you want to as a player that would best suit your playstyle. The idea here is it would add a level of variety that we haven't seen in the game to this point, right? They've done a pretty good job of doing the whole round robin arena meta, and it's been great. And they've been introducing all of these other modes that use different characters, different tunes, different whatever, that allow you to use your roster, which is great. I love it. I do. But there's got to be a way that we can do something else, right? That we can have more variety. And I think if they introduced competing metas, then it would provide that difference, that change, that variety that a lot of us have been looking for. And I think it'd be really cool. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, and it's a kind of a far-fetched stretch, but I think it's possible. And if it is, it'd be really freaking cool. All right, guys. So the last thing that I want to talk about is something that kind of hit me as I was driving back home today. There are a lot of really cool places to farm. There's a lot of places to farm, but what you have is a light side, a dark side. You don't have the neutral side that they've talked about. Could it be possible they're introducing a new place to farm? Whether that's neutral side battles or not, I don't rightly know. But what they could be doing is they could be introducing if they're introducing a neutral side battle, they could be adjusting the cost of the battles. This is absolutely pie in the sky speculation, something that I'd actually love to see. What if they dropped the highest down to 16 and the lowest down to 6, right? And then the normal energy, they drop it from like 6 to 3 or whatever. I don't know. It would change the way that we farm. It would change the way that we would need to farm. And because we could save energy. Now, again, you'd have to refresh nodes more often, which then would cost you crystals. But you'd be able to farm multiple things at once. And I think that would be really cool. Now, if they don't introduce a new neutral battle area, which, I mean, I'm not holding my breath for that at all. I think they'll introduce neutral characters long before they introduce a neutral battle map. I think it'd be cool. I really, really do. What they could be doing is this: introducing more or additional levels to the fleet battles. Now, right now, they are looking at fleet energy. You're looking at 5 tiers, 5 areas where you can farm ships. Now, if you do light side or you do normal, then you can do hard. You get gear and you can get ships and stuff. But if they expanded this out to 8 levels or 9 levels, they could introduce a number of new ships and really try to make ships as big a focus in this game as characters have been, because right now we don't have enough ships in my mind to do something like a raid. It doesn't make sense. The only thing we possibly can do with it is territory wars and territory battles, which is cool, but it's not enough for most players to be able to get excited about ships. And I think if they were to introduce ships, lowering the cost of those normal and hard nodes, then I think it'd be a lot easier to get excited. That's just what I'm absolutely hoping for. Whether we see it or not, I don't know. I personally am a little frustrated by this change, but it could be a lot worse. We don't know when the update's going to drop. I think it's going to drop with a ton of new stuff, quite possibly with the road ahead. We do have Star Wars Celebration later this week in Chicago. I believe it starts on the 11th. I'm very excited for that. Will we see something about this before then? My guess would be probably on Wednesday or Thursday at the very latest. That being said, guys, what do you think about the new changes? What do you hope comes from this? What has this made you feel like doing? Leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, share. Join us on Discord and let's talk about it. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, and really hit me up wherever I can be found, goingnerdy.com. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. And as always, my friends, smile, stay nerdy.